But how did you get involved with TNA?
Well, kind of. Actually, I got a question for you. During that time, before in between WCW and TNA, didn't they? I think you even mentioned it, Worldwide All Stars or something. Wasn't that something they did overseas, like to Australia or something? Or
Yeah, yep. So they did it in.
wasn't Hogan involved with that? And
No. Hogan wasn't involved. World Wrestling All Stars. Jarrett was involved in it. A promoter called Andrew McManus, who's Australian. Yeah. He's an event promoter. They bought out, I believe they bought out Bret Hart, Jerry Lawler, Road Dogg, Steiner, AJ Styles. Like they brought out a lot of the young TNA talent as well for a few shows.
So I think they, I mean, that kind of goes in that category of another promotion. They were trying to get going and, just never took off. But yeah, the early part of 2002, I don't even want to say early. I mean, it was maybe, a few months in. But there was other rumblings of another promotion starting. And since I was wrestling around Nashville, that which is where it was based at the time. There was rumblings about starting another promotion, and of course I was excited. I was gung ho about making something work again, but it's always in the back of my mind, like, okay, here we go again. Another promotion trying to start, and we'll see how far it goes. And but I had heard that Jeff Jarrett was involved, and he and his father was involved, which they had run their own promotion before. Jerry Jarrett was very respected in the business. So, and I knew Jeff had his connections, like a lot of the production people were WCW people. He brought in some decent talent, and we had one of the, I guess you would call it an indie show. It was kind of like a tryout show for TNA. They had some of the talent on the show, and this was in Nashville. But they were also kind of testing out some of the, the producers and, the agents, and they were doing a broadcast team. I think that's when they brought Don West in to give him a tryout. But on that card, Storm and I actually wrestled each other. The promoter, Bert Prentice, he was a big promoter down in Nashville and really did a lot for my career. But he wanted to put the best out there, and he was looking to do something with Storm and myself. And so he thought, even though we were both pretty hot baby faces at the time, he wanted to put us together and try to give him a good show and show what we could do. So he put us together. We went out, and it's still to this day one of my favorite matches. Storm and I really tore the house down that night, and the TNA guys were watching, and I. The story goes, when I came back, I looked right at Jeff because I had known Jeff from WCW. So I looked at Jeff and, of course, he had a lot of things going on that night. But he looked at me, he winked, and he said, "We'll be in touch." And within that week, he had Bob Ryder, which he had worked with WCW. And Bob was very, very instrumental in getting TNA off the ground. But within that week, Bob had contacted Storm and myself and offered a contract for that first show.
And was it like, did they tell you what the plan was for you to, when they signed you, like that they were going to make you a tag team? Was there any discussion with, or were you thinking you were going in there as a single?
Yeah, I kind of laugh at it now, but yeah, Storm and I had been singles in our whole career. So yeah, we get offered this opportunity. We're thinking we're going to be big single stars, but no, they had no direction. They didn't give us any ideas. We just knew we were going to be part of that first show. And I don't say that begrudgingly because they had so much going on. I mean, they had they were starting this promotion. They had to put everything into that first show. They had to bring in a few names, to get attention. We needed some big names in there, but they were also pretty big on the young talent. They knew that they needed young stars. And the way I always looked at it was they saw talent in Storm and I. They knew that they wanted us a part of it. They just didn't know what the hell to do with us. So we were part of that first event. I think Storm was in a tag match. I was in they had a gauntlet for the gold. I was in that. but by the second show, and the way I always tell it is, they had no direction, so I think they just took us and said, let's just put them together and see what happens. And so by that second show is when we had our first match, and they started using us, after that. And Storm and I kind of looked at it like, hey man, this is not what we planned, but if this is what they're going to give us, if this is our big opportunity, let's if they're going to put us in a tag team, let's make it the best tag team we can. And Storm and I are both old school guys, so we were big fans of a lot of the 80s and early 90s tag teams, the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, the Horsemen, Hart Foundation, Bulldogs, guys, those guys were solid tag teams, man. And that's what we applied to the concept that we had. They were going to put us together, and so we were going to do everything we could, man, to get the attention, and that's what we did. And I feel pretty confident that we made it work.